Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from Across the Shock, and you're very welcome back. Oh, I have so many knives to review at the minute, which is a beautiful problem to be in, but there's some you have to get out before others, and that's ones that people have or companies have sent you to review, and you have an obligation as a reviewer to do that. Well, the last batch of knives I got from Rosecraft blades was 6 knives. So I just haven't had time. I think I've done 2 of them, but I just wanted to bring these back in your memory. And why I want to do that is these sell out awful fast, especially over here in the UK. I think it's the same in the States. And for my viewers on both sides of the channel and around the world who try to get these, when they come in, you just have to buy them because they just go so quickly. And then there's another batch following on behind. And I'm not sure what the title's going to be, but it's something like, Rosecraft blades. They're the gateway to expensive knives. And that sounds crazy. This is what quite a lot of people would call a budget brand or the high end of budget because they're between 40 odd and 60 odd. But to me, these are what I would call budget knives. Or, you see, budget's not right. I can't even say that. They're not budget right. They're just this is terrible. I'm trying to think what category I can put them in because they really are in a category of their own. As far as the slip joints go, there's nobody rivaling them. Nobody. And in the amount that they're able to bring out, and a lot of us will easily spend a month 40 to 60 pound on a knife. And if you want to build up a collection, look at this of slip joint knives. Now, I'm not really that much into the. I'll talk about the locking knives in a minute. But for slip joints, look at that. Just look at that collection of knives and telling me that doesn't look pretty. That doesn't look attractive. But the thing about the Rosecraft knives, and you hear it from nearly every reviewer, whether they bought them themselves or they're part of the company and reviewing them, and from me especially, that the fit and finish of every single one of these knives, I can't fault. I just cannot fault it. Even the locking knives, they're not particularly my type of locking knives, but they're still blooming good knives. And as they're still good knives, they'll still work. Do you know what I mean? They'll still work. But the slip joints, which I'm mainly going to talk about, I can't find a fault with any of these. If I looked really, really deep, could I find one? Probably, but why would I want to do that? These are the most reasonably priced knives, I think, ever to come out. Here's the thing. Let's just get on to this. Civivi knives. An absolute goldmine because they make knives at the size, at the blade steel. They make them fantastic knives. Most of them are locking knives. So the majority are going to be locking knives. They're fantastic and they're selling a fortune. But not selling a fortune, they're selling a stack. Because they're bringing them in at a price that people can afford. And they're getting a really good knife for that. Before Rosecraft came along, we had Rough Rider, who were probably making the best. They are definitely a budget brand compared to these. They were making the best around. For your money, you couldn't buy much better. And then you get other wee companies sneaking in. But Rosecraft have just lifted the blooming baby by the ears out of the pram and shook it. And they have come out with... Andy Armstrong's a designer. He's a flipping genius. He worked for and designing Rough Rider knives, but he has brought in what everybody had wanted, which was single-bladed knives that are not too heavy, not too big, because the majority of slip joint carriers, I would say the majority by far, carry a blade between 3.5 and 3 3/4 inches. That's their main carry for the day. It's my main carry for the day. The people that I know, it's their sort of main carry for the day. 3.5 to 3 3/4 is the perfect size for an EDC slip joint because it will do everything in your day that you want it to do. And if you don't, you'll just have to wait and do it with something else tomorrow, because these are in D2. These are in APR 9, APR M9 or whatever it is, which is a great steel. It's the low end of powdered steel, but still a great steel for the price you get in the knives. You always have to relate that. But these are way above what you should be getting for this money. In the fit and finish, the design, the quality of the quality of finish is just unbelievable. And that's why this title is going to be, I think it is, the gateway to expensive knives. Because where do you go from here? From this 40 to 60, say 45 to 65 range, where do you go to get a better knife? You can get a Rough Rider Reserve. They come out infrequently, um, and a lot of them, I just, some of them I think, I mean, I've got one that's just, I've got the Barlow, which I think is one of the best knives out there. They have the sway back, the big sway back. It's a fantastic knife. The single blade knives I like, the others I just don't like. They're too bulky, too big. This is where Andy has nailed down his design. He's making knives that are the right size for people to carry. These are not knives you want to put up on a drawer or in a display case. Well, they could go there because they look that good. But that's not their general purpose. People are buying this price of knife to use. And these knives are amazing users. Their D2 seems to be really well heat treated. On the testing I've done on them, not one of them has come up that would lead me to any suspicion it's not exactly what they say it is. This is good D2. Yes, they're made by the Chinese. They're designed and they're sold by an American company. Rosecraft blades. You got Swags. You got what's his face? You know him that used to work for a Rough Rider? His name's gone out of my head now. And the other fella I forget every time because I don't write it down on the board. So I apologise. I must be the worst ambassador for Rosecraft. It must be the worst. But I love their knives and I have a passion for their knives. I mean, two of the latest ones that have just come out that was part of the 6 that I got are these two. About 3.5 inches long. This, again, single blades, which a lot of people just want. And newer people into the slip joints definitely want. Do you want to know? I would love it if they came out with if they could come out with a Stockman, you know, a modern Stockman or a jigged bone Stockman especially, or a wood even, but keep it thin. That would be the thing that would get people, the old traditionalists, into this. Just my thoughts, my opinions. So all these thoughts and opinions are mine. They're not anybody else's. So I'm to blame if you want them, I thought. But if they could make a Stockman the same thickness as this, or even this is a bit thicker. They could make a Stockman this thick at this size, 3.5 inches to 3 3/4, probably 3 3/4 for a Stockman. That would be a good medium-sized Stockman. I think they'd be laughing. Now, whether they have that in plans, I've no idea. But, you know, two-bladed knives, but keep it, this would want to be the thickest. Because people tend to make the others and they make them really thick. If that can be made at the price that they're putting these out for, oh my goodness. I mean, they could add an extra tenner. If they can keep it to this thinness, they could add an extra tenner to the price and I would happily hand it over. Happily hand it over. Two-bladed, you know, keep to this thickness. That's the bit that puts people off when they get too heavy and too thick. Because we're carrying these just in our pockets. A lot of these, do you want to know, I don't even carry these as pocket droppers. And I know they're budget knives. But I just put them in a slip because they're still, yes, they might be budget knives, but my gosh, they look great. You know, look at this, for example, completely off the chart to what you would normally get in traditional ones. Well, you know, you don't see it very often. A 3-coloured handle, G10, it's just an absolute beauty. A clip point to die for. The action to die for. Just beautiful. Look at that. Can you see how thin that sort of handle is? You've got the depth here with the Coke bottle shape. But look at the amount of blade you're getting. When you get like a little case this side, they're very skinny, long little blades. I'm not picking in case. A lot of companies do that. This blade is nearly out of proportion in its size compared to the size of the knife. And that's perfect because you feel, once you put this in your hand, it's so comfortable. And then you see the blade. This can do a day's work. That is the difference for me. A lot of his designs, his blades are built for the job. They're built to fit in this little handle, but to be substantial. This again, here's another, this other one is beautiful. And look, he's doing the different patterns. You got your Cook bottles, you got your Barlows, you got original kayak patterns. This is like a sort of Navaja, sort of, there's a lot of things, toothpick looking knife. It's just, and this uh, shotgun. Did I call it a shotgun? This is a. Oh, for goodness sake, Paddy, it gets worse, you know. This is beautiful. It reminds me of the butt of a rifle. But look at the blade. It fits with the knife. It's not a little skinny clip. It's not a fat clip, but it's skinny. But in hand, this is at least as comfortable as some of my custom knives. It fits perfectly. 2 fingers below, 2 fingers above, and you can stretch out. If you've got a bigger hand, you can stretch out a bit and have that ricasso as well. Beautiful little knife. It doesn't need to be any bigger. Doesn't need the beautiful swells, a nail nick. Just, and I love the way they're changing up between long pulls, nail nicks. You're getting that variety. But listen to that. Centering. Unbelievable. But most of these are on sale now in the UK. And if you go to Hiennie or Cyclaire knives, I'll put their names down below because maybe a few of you haven't heard of Cyclaire knives. Hiennie and Cyclaire knives have, between the two of them, they'll have most of the knives you're going to see on the table here. So I really do suggest you go over and see them. Let's just talk for a minute on the two lock-in knives. I had this one the first time I got. I try to get one each time that's going to be on sale over here in the UK, which are going to be thumb studs or front flipper type things. This one is the new one I got this month. We've talked about that when I've done a review on it. It's a nice little box opener. Again, not my cup of tea, but it is a nice, useful, nice, if you like that stumpy sort of a knife look. This one I think is absolutely beautiful. That is a lovely little knife for EDC. Will do you all day long. It's slim. You're not going to notice in your pocket until we get down to here. Andy, get that off there, please. Just get it off. I'm going to cut mine off anyway. But the knife itself and the thumb stud, the detent is fantastic. I like the pocket clip. Thinness is perfect. This is a just beautiful knife to have in your hand. You could definitely go to work on this. Absolutely beautiful. Again, D2, super job. But this, when you have a thumb stud that's got, let me just show you. And this pass through, Andrew, I have to say, there's not enough room for my fat thumb to get in there properly. I keep missing it. And I don't want to run them down. I'm not sure even, and this might be a swag design, but please take it with all the good intent because it's a lovely knife. But this just doesn't work. If you're a man with large hands, that's where that goes. That goes straight into there. If you're a man with large hands, and it digs in and it's uncomfortable because the detent on this is so strong. You have to have something behind it to get it to flick out, and it's just uncomfortable. Plus the fact you clip this into your pocket, and this is you're going into your pocket like that to get something out of your pocket. You're going to eventually catch it one day, and that's a little pry bar. You're going to hurt yourself. I'm sorry, but that needs to come off there, or put a wee rounded end on if you want it for a crusher or something like that. But no, I didn't get that. But the knife itself, fantastic design. This is no, I don't get that. But anyhow, I'm not supposed to get everything, and that's the truth. If I did, say I loved everything, then I probably would, I wouldn't be telling the truth. These two so far, this is a great little stumpy knife. If that's the sort of knife that you like, that sort of, trying to think what have I got here? Oh yeah, that's what I've got. It's definitely a posher version of that. The difference in size is a little bit bigger, but you're getting D2 steel in this, and you get 8CR in this, I believe. I know you can get posher ones. What is this? Does it say what it is on it? I think this is ATR. But you know, that's sort of a little knife. It's really nice and useful. This one would be a fantastic knife if it didn't have that. Definitely. I would put that above this if it didn't have that. That just doesn't work. I can understand the gimmick side of it, but not for me. Anyhow, let's just move on because that's not a downside. There's plenty of people like them. Look at this. It's like a big bow trapper. Isn't it? Oh, where do you see this blade? This is probably blade to handle ratio. This is a big handle, and it's like a pistol grip. Points you forward, especially if you're going to go into bags and things like that. Just perfect. This is just, and look at that. Look at the depth in that blade. That drop point blade is just beautiful. Maybe a bit of a clip, but more of a drop point. It's just beautiful. Big bit of belly on it. It'll do everything from your sandwiches to open up cement bags. Again, at the price, this is something you'd want to take on a building site and use. It's just super. Absolutely super. Green micarta, which is nice. I really do like the green micarta. They've it polished. Or is it green G10 maybe? I think it might be green G10. Yeah. But you have Andy's skull on there. Isn't that great that he's doing different designs with Andy's skull? Now, I really do like that. It's a big work knife. But to be honest with you, for me, because I usually carry a couple of knives, this is a bit big for my front pocket. And I know that's silly. Other knives you carry in a clip, and it clips in your pocket, keeps it out of the way. But a traditional, it's just a bit big for me to keep in my front pocket. But I'll still use this knife, absolutely. This next one, I think was an older model. I'm not 100% sure. This has the little pry at the end of it. And the difference with this is it's a two-hand opener because you don't have that sticking into your palm of your hand. And that makes a huge difference because it sits there at the back of my hand. It's not digging in, but I have the ability to crunch something, break a window, do whatever. Just a perfect, like, and again, the depth on the blade, this depth, this bit here, where you're going to do most of your cutting is going to be here. Good depth. You have a lovely point on this if you want to get in and do more intricate work. You know, you can reach it. You can get, well, I can get my finger right down to the end there, and I'm in no way in danger of cutting myself. Beautifully designed knife, a nice bigger knife. Really like that. Not too thick. Perfect. Love that knife. And then the one that shocked me the most probably of this new batch is this little here, this something river in it, little swayback. Look at that. I had the bigger one and it was just way too big to me. I think I gave it to somebody. It was just way too big. I wouldn't have carried it in my pocket. But this, you know, as a skinning, absolutely perfect as a skinning knife. Absolutely one of the best I think I've ever felt. Beautiful little knife. It's a bit thicker behind the edge, but that's okay because you're only going, you know, you're using this part of it here just to do your skinning, getting the skin away from the flesh. I just think, but even as a knife, it's just a really good knife because you have this lovely bit of flat and then this lovely bit of belly. If you're cutting down on a board, you've got so much cutting area to get through a sandwich, or you don't have to put your hand away up. This big belly will just go right through your sandwich or through the meat you're cutting even. But a beautiful knife. Really, really enjoyed that. But I've enjoyed the different shields as well. That's a nice thing that they've done this time. We had that ace of spades there. Love this. This little gun stock is lovely. Love this. But the Barlows. The Barlows. What can I say about the Barlows? Let's just get you in a wee bit. There's the Barlow. Look at that detail on there. Isn't that? And I do love the rose shield. There's nothing wrong with it. But just look at that detail. Let me hold it still. Look at that. It's absolutely stunning. And a perfectly made knife. Beautiful Barlow with a single lined Barlow, or lined bolster, I should say. And then you have this lovely long pull. To be quite honest, this is big enough here that I can just get my fingers in, squeeze them into that, and just love it. And I don't mean a hurt squeeze, just a hug squeeze. But again, look at that lovely fat clip point. That is just beautiful. beautiful, and I love the long pull. Really nice to have a swedge on the other side, which makes that look pretty, and it keeps that evenness there. But just absolutely stunning, and I love using these Barlows. Love using them. Lovely, lovely. There's this one, and then there's another one with this lovely orange bone. More bone, please. I love bone. And I know there's at least one beautiful one coming soon, and I can't wait for it. I'm very, very excited for it. It might even be my favourite of all of them. There you go. And that's saying something because, you know, this is beautiful. But Andy, for me, maybe people, if you share my opinion, put it down below, because not only are we getting the knives out there, what you write down below can help Andy for a direction he's going to go. They've probably got the next year or the rest of this year already done up. They'll not be changing that. But they plan nearly a year and a half to 2 years ahead. And just watching the video is great. And if it makes you go out and buy the knife, that's even better. It's absolutely better. But if there's anything that is of interest to you that you would like to see coming, letting Andy know, because yours might just be the last one that he needs to say, right, I'm going to have a go at making that. But you need the quantity of people, and that's why reviews are so important for knife designers, knife makers. They want to hear what you think. So, yes, by all means say, hello, Paddy, thank you, but Andy and Swags, let them know what you think. Do you like this? Is this something that you carry? Maybe everybody in the world likes this but me. But I don't know, because you have to find that out through people. People have to actually say, here, this is not good. I'm not, it's not, I don't like this. But maybe you all do, and I don't. This is a little stumpy. I don't carry many stumpies. I have a couple of small ones that I've got close to this that I really like. But I'm not a front flipper guy anyway, but I can do this one. So there you go. This is the first front flipper that I've been able to do successfully anytime that I want to do it. So there you go. There's a positive. There's a positive in all knives usually when you're not trying to be ultra critical. And I'm not trying to be ultra critical, because what we've got here, this little doctor knife, is beautiful. The way that end cap is finished off, look at that. That is just beautiful. I love it. Little two-bladed doctor's knife. I really would love one with a stirring stick on it. That would make it even better. I have a small collection of these, but I'd love one with a stirring stick. There you go. And this is fabulous. I don't know if have you seen one, held one, or had one. This is cheap, 20 odd pound. But it's D2. Listen to the walk and talk in this. It's just... This little knife, I'm telling you, can do as much work as all of these. This on a key ring or in your fifth pocket. It's in D2, exactly the same. The material is G10. It's good. It's well made. It's perfect, just small. But it is a perfect little small knife to have. You've got so much control of everything. Beautiful little knife. And again, in the £20 region, or dollars. I'm sure it's 20 odd dollars too. It's just a super little knife. So that's my sort of overview of Rosecraft. Where I see them going, I just see them getting better and better. I really do. But for anything to get better and better, we need, the company, or Andy, or Swags, whoever makes a knife, feedback is the best thing for them. So please try and give a bit of feedback on this video, because I'm sure Andy will watch it. Just to see if I'm earning my keep. I get these for nothing. So I don't have to say anything about these. I mean, I don't do many budget blade companies anymore. But I can't not do these, because they're not just a budget blade. This is a blade that's way beyond its price range, and I hope that stays the same way, because I don't want somebody else coming in behind them and putting them another knife at a price. I want them to stay there. I want them to be successful. I want them to get a factory in the US and start making them that way. But for now, these are being made perfectly by whoever's making them. They really are. They're taking Andy's design and just making them work, and I just can't applaud them enough. and I can't recommend them enough. And look, Hiennie and Cyclaire knives, go onto their websites and have a look. They've got most of these in now between the two of them. And try one. Just try one. And you will see what everybody else is raving about. And I'm confident at that. Do you know what I mean? I'm confident to recommend it. Good God, I've gone on for a long time. Anyway, it's Friday and it's a nice day. It's not raining outside. I'm going to go and take the dogs for a wee walk because I've been out for a couple of days and get ready for the weekend. Rugby tomorrow, the last match of the Six Nations. And I'll be watching that tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Paddy's away. Thanks.